Okay, so this is going to be a video about solving for unknown with the distribution properties. So a question involving distribution will have brackets in it. So we can do one with just brackets on one side of the equation. So let's say that we have 2 and then we have a bracket or parentheses. X subtract 1 is equal to 16. We can look at that example and then we'll do one with parentheses or brackets on both sides of the equation. So remember, we were trying to solve for equations, and let me just change colors. And the objective again is that you want to figure out what x is. Remember, this is an equation, so the left side of the equal sign must equal the right side, right? That's what this equal sign is. It separates to your left to your right, but both sides are exactly the same. Even though it looks really complicated on the left side, but it still must equal to 16 in this case. So how do we solve for just what x is? What number can go into x to make all of this stuff equal to 16? So in order to do that, we have to do a little bit of math, a couple step by step, and then slowly solve for what x is. So since this has a 2 in front of the bracket here, if you remember BEDMAS, we have to do the brackets first. But in this case, BEDMAS doesn't really work because we don't know what x is. So we can't just go x minus 1 and we'll do the bracket. So since we can't really do the brackets first, we're going to follow the next step, which is going to do the multiplication. And since 2 is outside of the bracket, this is multiplying. So this is 2 is multiplied into your x, and this is also going to be multiplied to the -1. So this entire thing with the sign. Okay? So 2 times x is going to be your 2x, and then 2 times -1 is going to be -2 or -2. That's my first step on the left side. And we still have this equal sign. We're going to drop this. And the right side is going to still remain the same of 16. Now you notice that after this first step, I don't have my brackets anymore, because that's the reason why we did that step, because we wanted to get rid of the brackets. So then we have 2x subtract 2 is equal to 16. That means this left side must combine or do whatever to equal to 16. What's going to be my x then? Well, right now my variable is with a coefficient of 2 and a -2. I can't do that because I have -2 here. So I need to get rid of this -2 by adding the opposite. Because the reason why we add the opposite is -2 plus 2 gives me 0. That means it's gone on the left side. 16 plus 2 is 18. So that's good. And then now I have this 2x that remains. So 2x 2 times something is equal to 18. So we're going to divide by 2 because we don't want 2 of them. We want just 1. So x is equal to 9. So that's what I have. How do I know that I got this correct? Well, because your final answer, basically what you solved was that x, wherever you see x, that's equal to 9. So back in this equation, I see an x here. So if I were to substitute this 9 wherever I see x, this left side should equal to 16. So let's see. So 2 times 1 and equal to 16. This is my blank, and I'm just going to change colors to indicate that. Let's go for green. So that's 9. Now, to solve for this, I'm going to follow BEDMAS because I can do the brackets first now. 9 minus 1 is 8. Bracket, bracket, 2 is equal to 16. 2 times 8 is 16. And they equal to each other. So that means that this is an equation that's satisfied, that's happy, because 16 is equal to 16. That's how you do it for distribution. Let's do one with a bracket on both sides. So let's try 3 times, I don't know, 2x minus 3. Hopefully we'll get some nice numbers. 2 times let's do positive 1x minus 2. So you notice that I have all these parentheses and all that stuff, and it's an equation because it's separated by the equal sign. First step is I don't really care what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna simplify this a little bit easier for myself, and because I have brackets with these x's, I don't like them, so I'm gonna distribute them, because the reason to distribute them is to get rid of them. Okay, so I'm gonna multiply 3 to my negative 2x, which is negative 6x. 3 times negative 3, don't forget the sign, is going to be negative 9. So that's going to be my left side. And then my right side, I know I have parentheses, so this is multiplying. So here's 2 times 1x and 2 times negative 2x. So this, to my colleague, looks like a little dance because it's distributing, and also sort of looks like a dolphin to me. I don't know if this is going to work for some of you, but it looks like a dolphin jumping into each of these ones. Either way, you're distributing. So 2 times 1x is 2x. 2 times negative 2, don't forget that negative sign. These little things matter. Negative 4. So you realize that after that step, we don't have parentheses anymore. So that makes our lives a lot easier because now we can just gather all our x's onto one side. So I have negative 6x here and my positive 2x here. Remember, this is equal sign. This separates my left and right side. I need to make all these x's on one side. So I don't know, usually I just go move the left one to the right side. Okay, I'm just gonna move my 6x to the right side, and I do that by adding, because what I do to one side I do to the left side, to the other side, and that just makes it equal. Negative 6x plus 6x cancels out to 0, so I have a negative 9 left. 2x plus 6x, collecting like terms, 2 plus 6 is 8. Don't forget I have an equal sign in between. And lastly, I have my negative 4. So we realize that last step, right here, I got rid of the variables on both sides, because now I just have variables on one side. But wait a minute, I can't just go ahead and find what 1x is because I have a negative 4. So I have to move this to the other side. So I'm going to add a 4, cancel. This is going to be a negative 5. Negative 9 plus 4 is a negative 5. 8x. Notice how my equations get simpler, simpler, and simpler. I have 8x's now. I just want 1, so I'm going to divide by 8. The 8's gets cancelled. X is equal to negative 5 over 8. So you don't need to change this into decimal. You can just leave it in a fraction form. And if you really want to double check your answer, I know it's not very fun to double check your answers with fractions, but you can by plugging all the x's in here, and you will get them to equal. And that's how you can double check and always get 100% on your quizzes or your tests. So hopefully this video helped you out with the distribution. The next one is going to be with fractions and distribution, which is just another little step, so nothing to it. So hopefully you get some practice, and always practice more. See you later.